Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Talk Exchange. Today we have with us the 2024 Youth of the Year Award winner, Brandon Liu. And he talks today about what he's been doing since winning the award, who inspired him, his current college life at UCLA, and even the California wildfires and how he was impacted while still being able to give back to his community. Truly inspiring. So this is a great episode for anyone looking for some inspiration, especially for maybe some of our younger Exchange Club members and what you can do to give back even in the face of difficulty and natural disaster. So again, great episode. Hope you enjoy. We'll see you again next week.
Welcome to Talk Exchange. I'm Tracy Edwards, CEO of the National Exchange Club.
And I'm Christy Lindahl, Director of Communications.
Hi, Christy.
Hey, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited about our guest today, who we know and love, and we're looking forward to catching up with Brandon Liu, our Youth of the Year, National Youth of the Year Award winner, who's currently located in sunny California, to talk about his experience. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you so much for having me today.
Our pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy college life to talk with us today. I know any of our members who are listening who had the fortunate opportunity to meet you at our national convention in San Antonio are excited to catch up with you and just hear about how your experience has been so far. And I know that you talk a lot about how winning that Youth of the Year award was such an honor. Can you tell us what it meant to you and how it's shaped your journey so far, both personally and academically?
Sure. So I think the Youth of the Year experience was definitely such an amazing one for me. It was really a culmination of sort of all of the things I've done throughout my life, and it was like a really um, big milestone for me to not only of service to others, but also, for my future as well. And so I remember we like the way it worked was I originally got nominated by a teacher at my high school and then got sent to the counseling office, and then it kind of rolled out from there, going from the district where I met Miss Shirley Lashmet and all of the other wonderful members from South Orange County Exchange. And then I got to share a little bit about my story at the California Nevada district, and then finally at the national convention. And prior to that, I got a call from Mrs. Edwards, and I was sitting in my car, and I got the news, and it was like best news of the day, best news of my life, pretty much. That I found out I got this award. So that was a really, really big moment for me. And yeah, I think what Youth of the Year represents is is the act of service to your community, for a genuine purpose, and hopefully, for the rest of your life as well. Like for me, I'm looking at careers in the future where I can be of service to other people, whether it's my country or my community, my family, things like that. And when I was at the convention too, it was really great experience to meet fellow exchange members from across the country, learning about their experiences, and also meeting Gabby and Brooke, who I'm hoping to reconnect with sometime soon to hear how they're doing. But just hearing their stories and how hard they've been working and all the trials and obstacles they've overcame as well really inspired me. So yeah, I think Youth of the Year has been really an impactful experience for me. It's really like guided my vision in life, and really encouraged me to keep pursuing what I dream of doing.
Oh, Brandon, you're such a genuine, thoughtful person. Who has inspired you to get to where you are now? So clearly somebody taught you the value of community service and giving back.
Mhm. Sure. So I think my biggest contributor is obviously my family, especially um, in my mom's side of the family. Everyone is always constantly helping each other, always caring deeply for each other, and having a lot of empathy, and taking care of people. So I think that was like really a driving force. And then also the fact that like throughout my elementary, middle school, high school years, I've done different things that sort of have built and fostered my love for like leadership and like serving others. For example, in middle school and high school, I joined Boy Scouts, and that was a really good experience for me to learn how to work with adult leaders and peers, and gain a lot of valuable life skills, communication skills, and the idea of like respecting your country, respecting the people around you, was really important. And then even throughout high school, serving in my journalism program, um, I got to learn more about, how to lead others and be a good listener. And then now in college, sort of just being inspired by the students around me who have so many lofty goals and ambitions, but they continually inspire me to dream big and also serve others as well. So I feel like throughout my life, there's been different pockets of people who have been inspiring me going forward.
Aw, you're truly a fortunate young man. Yeah.
It sounds like you've had some great role models, and obviously we were fortunate to meet your parents, and they're
Mhm.
just really genuine, great people. And I loved seeing the closeness in your family, which you just described. I'm sure they miss having you around, but are excited to
Yes.
have you there in UCLA. So, how has the
Mhm.
transition to college life been?
Sure. So first of all, UCLA was my dream school. So every day I'm
Uh,
so happy to be here. Like even just like our campus is so beautiful. Sometimes I'll, choose different routes to walk on campus. I can pass by like a particular building, just to look around. But yeah, I think first quarter was definitely a blur because, lots of things happened. I moved into my dorm. I got to go to my first football games, things like that. Also joining a bunch of clubs and trying to get involved, exploring all the libraries on campus, meeting so many different people. And also, we have amazing food here. We're number one dining in the entire country. So I
That's
feel like
very
that was
wow.
important.
like, yes, it really makes a big difference. If you're having like a bad day, maybe you had a bad, test or whatnot, you can just go on the Bruin Dining app and see what's on the menu for the day, and it'll make you feel a lot better. So that's like something, that's really special about UCLA. But yeah, I think um, now in winter quarter, now that that's kind of all settled, I'm trying to like figure out, what exactly I want to do in the future and what exactly I want to study. And so this quarter, these past couple of days for me, have been really like pivotal for me. I have learned a lot about myself because I was
Mm.
originally enrolled in this really hard econ class because I wanted to major in business economics. But that class was very hard, and even though the professor, he was great, just the content of the class was, really a lot. It uses like
Mm.
multivariable calculus to solve econ problems, which is not really what I signed up for, when I thought about econ. And so I decided to switch my major, and I'm going to be doing statistics instead. And
Oh.
so we'll see how that goes. And hopefully I can like minor in like entrepreneurship or something like that, so I can still take some business classes. And then I'm still minoring in Chinese as well. So those are some of the academic things I have going on. But yeah, I think in college I think it's an important time to just like take a breath, and pause and like just reflect on like, am I actually studying something that I'm passionate about? Is this something I really
Mm.
want to do in the future? And being able to ask those questions and, take a step back and maybe redirect yourself, I think it takes like a little bit of courage, but I think it's better to do it now than later. And so I definitely heard stories going into college like, oh, people will change their major. I never thought it would actually be me, but here I am. So I think I learned a lot about myself these past couple
Well,
weeks.
that's great that you realized that early on so that you can make the
Hmm.
shift early and not waste too much time. I know you don't waste a
Hmm.
lot of time, so good to have that figured out and move on. And I like the idea
Hmm.
of having some comfort food. And I didn't realize that UCLA is
Right.
noted for their dining options. That's awesome.
Uh-huh, we do. And some of our dining halls specialize in different cuisines. So, for example, we have this place
Oh.
called Rendezvous, which is actually the name in itself is named for a reason because the West and the East side meet, where the West is Mexican food and the East is Asian food. And so you can go to either side of their dining hall and have a different cuisine. And then we also have like places like Epicuria, which specialize in like Italian and European cuisine. And
Mm.
then, so we have lots of variety on campus. It's really great.
That's
That's
awesome.
important. Very
Yeah.
good.
So, Brandon, what advice would you give to other kids? You are an impressive young man. How does someone even begin to do what you've done with your life?
So I would just say to put your talents to use and find something you enjoy doing, find a way to share that with other young people. Like for me, I feel like I've always really enjoyed connecting with people, and trying to build leadership skills and things like that, through like Boy Scouts and all those other activities I did. And so, like back in high school, I built a little program to teach communication skills to youth, and I thought that was like a really important way for me to use what I had learned throughout like Boy Scouts and journalism and all these other activities and things I did, to just, and also my passion for like working with kids and helping people. I kind of put two and two together. And so if I'm talking to any like high school students or people who are trying to figure out what they should be doing, I think just using your talent and tapping into that is a really great way to serve others, and yeah, really meet some more people and build your communication skills. I think communication, teamwork, leadership skills are important regardless of what you do in the future. So uh, I think definitely tapping into those skills is important.
Yeah, you're talking our language, Brandon.
Absolutely. And you're such a great mentor and example for young people. It's very exciting to see how excited you are to pursue your goals, but also to help others, to be an example for kids, and how great that you developed that platform to teach communication skills to kids, which is so important.
Mhm. Yes, and I definitely really enjoyed that experience because I got to see a little bit of myself in them, being at first
Mhm.
a little bit timid to public speak, and then, even just speaking at the exchange convention that I had never done
Yeah,
something like that before, where I spoke to over 500 people. And so even through that experience, I learned a lot about myself. Actually, I feel like after that I did a pretty great job, and so it
Yes.
definitely quelled my fears about public speaking in the future, and I gained a lot of confidence. So just putting yourself out there and taking risks, I think you learn a lot about yourself.
Excellent
good.
advice for life overall.
Well, absolutely. And I know, Christy, and I envision you returning to a national convention down the road to present the award to a future Youth of the Year. And they will be so
Mhm,
inspired by what you've accomplished and by your story. So, speaking of
mhm.
that, are there ways that you've been able to stay involved in with Exchange locally? And how do you envision that playing out to kind of stay involved in the organization that recognized you as the Youth of the Year so that you can have a way to give back to the community and be involved with our programs?
Sure. So, obviously, like through this podcast, I'm really hoping to stay connected with you at the national headquarters, but also staying connected with Ms. Shirley Lashmet back in Orange
Mhm.
County has been something that I've been trying to do. When I moved in originally to UCLA, I sent her like a little update, and then also during the fall quarter as well. And hopefully, when it comes time for like spring break or sometime when I go back home, I can pay them a visit, just see how they're doing, and participate in any of the activities that they have going on. And then, maybe like down the line in the future, I can, join an exchange club of my own as a member. But also thinking more like focus on like my role as a college student right now, like in terms of service, like next year, I'm actually potentially interested in joining the ROTC at UCLA. And so, because
Mhm.
I'm interested in potentially joining the military in the future. And so that would be something that would be important to me and also, serving our country. So, yeah, I'm looking into that. And then, of course, just like one of my business clubs currently works with small business owners and does like consulting services for them for free, pro bono. So that's another way I'm sort of trying to give back, and also just kind of evaluate, what I'm doing for the rest of my life, and are those reflecting like the values um, that I hold dear and are valued by through the exchange as well in terms of like serving others, giving back, things like that.
Wow. Tracy, I think
Wonderful.
Brandon has a few more hours in his day than the rest of us.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And all of that. And I know going back to you staying in touch with the Exchange Club that initially recognized you, I know how excited and thankful they are to get your
Mhm.
updates. And that's really special and so great that you've been able to kind of act as an ambassador for Exchange and share the message with your, fellow students and friends about
Mhm.
our impact across the country. And also great that you're considering a career in the military. It is amazing what you can get done on a daily basis. And every time we talk to you, it's just amazing what you've been able to do at such a young age. It's awesome.
Thank you. And if there's any ways that, I could contribute more to the national headquarters, whether it's like giving, presentations to prospective applicants or students, like that's totally something I'm open to doing as well. So just want to put that out there.
That would be fantastic. I know Christy will take you up on that. That's awesome.
My head is
Thank you
spinning
for that.
already with ideas.
Well, as
Brandon's
we
like,
were
oh
talking,
no.
as we were talking before we started recording, I know we were concerned about you and interested in hearing about how the fires have affected you and people on your campus. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So yeah, UCLA, like I was mentioning before on the podcast, sort of has been through a lot this quarter. From
Mhm.
first of all, we had a new chancellor come in January 1st, and so he was kind of thrown into this whole situation,
Yeah.
basically in the first week of the winter quarter. So that was very tough. And then so we ended up going back to school on about Sunday and Monday. Of winter quarter, so January 5 and 6 is when students started coming back. So we were all moving in, ready for the winter quarter. Monday, Tuesday were pretty normal. And then Wednesday, we look outside and there's basically a fire burning in the sky.
Oh
Um,
my God.
that's what we saw because the Getty or the areas near the Getty were, surrounded by flames, with the Pacific Palisades fire. And Palisades is only about like 5 miles from campus. And then we also had the
Mm.
Eaton fire, in Pasadena, which, is miles away, but, still we were basically surrounded by flames. So the air quality was not looking good. Like the sky was like basically smoky the entire day. It was kind of ominous, and we still actually went to
Mhm.
class on Wednesday because they sent us an email saying, "Oh, the air quality is good based on our indicators." But there was a lot of like pushback off of that, and then at the end of the day, they decided to cancel classes for the rest of the week. And then once that happened, a lot of students who live locally, like Orange County, San Diego, decided to go back home, me included. I brought like three friends with me. We all like piled into my dad's car. He was able to come up, and then we all just went back home. And I actually housed my roommate for like a good couple of days. He was from the Bay Area because I didn't want to leave him behind and be isolated on campus. So that's what happened on Wednesday and for the rest of the week. And then on about Saturday, Sunday during the weekend, they announced that that week two, the week after, was going to be all virtual classes. And so that's what we were doing that week. And it's sort of strange because sort of funny because UCLA has sort of been through this year after year with COVID, online school, and then
Mhm.
the incidents last year with the protests also brought things online. And then the year before that, I think it was something else like a strike, like a TA strike or something. And so our school's always been through some sort of disruption. So hopefully next year will be a little bit more normal. But yeah, this is something that seems to be a recurring pattern for some reason.
Wow. Well, of course, not surprisingly, you sprang right
Mhm,
into action and wanted to help those around you. So that's pretty awesome and glad
mhm.
everything worked out safely for all of you.
Yes, yes. And I'm really proud of my school too because we've done like a great job like trying to give back to the community. For example,
Good.
UCLA has been partnering with like UCLA Health, of course, and definitely like helping all the people who have been affected by the fires. And then even our campus has set up like evacuation centers in Westwood to house people who have been displaced. And then also like campus leader or student leaders on campus are putting together like a Bruin relief initiative to have students work together and go contribute to the community in LA and donate supplies, raise money, things like that. So definitely a lot of people and groups on campus working together in the middle of the fires. And luckily, the fires have been contained for the most part by now, so things are looking a lot better.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And what a thing to deal with when you're trying to focus and you have so much going on. I can imagine the number of clubs you've joined, as you mentioned, and
Mhm,
trying to study and focus on school and then having to deal
mhm,
with those external factors that
mhm,
came so close. Wow. And now you're
Yeah,
helping
and
people.
that's right. And
mhm,
taking exams.
mhm.
Yes.
After
Yes, I
all of
know.
that, you
So
still get exams.
Yes.
right. Yeah. With the quarter system, things move so fast here versus like in a
Mhm.
traditional semester system where it's about 16 weeks, our quarters are basically 10 weeks, with the last week being finals. And so basically you'll go like 1, 2, 3 weeks and then a midterm in the fourth week, or maybe even in the third week. And then
Mm.
maybe for other classes, they'll have midterms, spread out as well. So maybe you could have a midterm in week 5, 6. So then my friends and I are joking that isn't just like a midterm week, it becomes a midterm month. But I guess on the bright side, you could think about like maybe you're spreading out, your workload throughout those weeks. But yeah, that's the one downside to the quarter system.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Well, it's been so great to catch up with you, and definitely thank you for keeping in touch. And
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll visit again, but we wanted to give our members and our listeners an update on your first few weeks of experience in college at UCLA and catch up with the National Exchange Club's Youth of the Year Award winner. So, congratulations again, and thanks for sharing your updates with us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. And to our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about the National Exchange Club's impact in this field and beyond, please visit nationalexchangeclub.org. And thanks for listening to this episode of Talk Exchange. Thank you, Brandon.
Of
Amazing. Oh
course.
my gosh. So great to catch up with you and give our best to your family as well.
Sure. Absolutely.